So as you can see, I've taken our 8x8 square and I've placed it around about 3 or 4 inches from the top of the paper, and I'm just going to draw around it. To the right hand side, you can see I've just stuck a small bit of tape and I've put an X on it. This is going to be our perspective point. My cross is around about 10 inches away from the bottom right hand corner of that square, and as you can see, I'm now going to draw in some lines from the corner of each square, or each point of the square. As you can see by the information that just come up on the screen, each line is around about 40mm or 4 centimeters long. Don't forget to draw each line from your perspective point. This is really, really important. Just take your time, there's no rush. As you can see, everything's all lined up. And now I'm just checking before moving on to the next stage that those 3 lines that I just drew are 4 centimeters or 40mm in length. So now you can join up these lines. Again, take your time. Because you're using a biro, or if you're using a biro, just be careful that when you move the ruler away or drag your hand across the top of it, you don't smudge the ink. There's nothing more frustrating than, you know, getting halfway through your artwork and all of a sudden you end up smudging the ink. So just be careful of that. Now I'm going to place in some dots. I'm placing mine every 2 centimeters or 20mm apart, as you can see. I've done the top line, I'm doing the bottom line, and then in the next little picture you're going to see all the other edges of the square that I want to make sure that you just place these really faint little dots on top of the lines. There you go, I've just marked them out to make it nice and easy for you. Make sure the dots are just nice and faint. Don't have to be too strong, but just so that you can see them enough. Now take a straight edge. I've chosen to use this. It's see-through, it's easy for me to see the dots, and I can draw from one line or one dot to the other. Nice and easy, just taking my time. Like I say, this is really important. This is the foundations. If you get this part right, when we come to colour it in, this is going to look awesome and you're going to wow all your friends, and your friends are going to think you're amazing. So here you can see me pointing out the perspective point, and from that and the dots that you've put all around the edges, you're now just going to draw a line from one edge to the other. Now you can see that I've missed out a line. That's just to give the other line a few seconds to dry out, rather than me dragging that ruler across that line. So you'll see me do that quite often through this, is rather than going from line to line, I'll probably miss out a line. It just gives the ink a little bit longer to dry. That's if you've chosen to use a biro. Obviously if you're using a pencil, you won't get that problem. Again, you can see I'm just lining up the little dots that I've made straight through to the perspective point, and I'm just joining all those lines up. This is going to form the checkers on the actual cube itself. Some of you might have spotted that my ruler's really happy. My ruler's always happy when it's being used. And I 100% recommend that you all get yourself a happy ruler. If you've got a happy ruler like my one, then you're going to have some happy artwork. Just putting in the final lines now of the box. or cube or board, however you want to describe it. Brilliant. So now I just basically want you to draw a line from one side to the other as demonstrated. I've probably, well, as you can see, I'm around about the thickness of the ruler. I now want you to draw a line, as I'm demonstrating here, around about 1/2 centimetre from the top to the bottom. Obviously don't draw it through the box, just copy what I'm doing on the screen. And now finally we're going to draw in all the lines that are going to be the paper lines. I've spaced mine out around about 1 centimetre or 10 millimetres apart. Don't worry too much, don't get too caught up in whether this part is exactly 10 mil apart. It's only rough, because eventually when you actually photograph this or put your video camera on the drawing, it's just an added effect. And it's going to make your drawing look even more awesome. But obviously if you've got one line that's you know, 1 inch out, then obviously that's going to be obvious. But if it's only 1 or 2 mil, don't worry about it too much. It's just get the lines in, get it looking as neat as possible. And again, take your time, no rush, and try to be mindful not to smudge the ink if you're using a biro. Now you just saw my website address came up. If you're interested in finding out more about me, head over to the website. I also sell lots of my realistic drawings on there, and there's lots of other useful art related stuff as well. So if you get the time, head over to that website. So we're just coming into the final stages now, and that'll be all our line drawings done. And you're going to be one step closer to creating a really cool 3D looking floating checkerboard. And your friends and family are going to love it when you show them this finished drawing. You can be a little bit more loose if you're doing this. I mean, obviously I'm taking my time because I want to make sure it's right for this particular course. But if you're just practicing at home with a pencil, obviously you can move through the stages a lot quicker. Now I just noticed a little bit there that I just want to tidy up, and that should be it. Brilliant. We can now move on to the next stage.